if it's on cloth or it's painted on a board, it's not fundamentally different. Whereas in the West, our liminal liturgical imagery includes stained glass, which is a radically, profoundly Christian medium. It invented by Christian artists out of that sort of tension between suddenly engineering giving you buildings filled with vast windows where there was therefore nowhere to paint. And some genius decided to paint the windows.
Okay.
Filled with light. I mean, when you paint an icon, you're trying to show the inner light rather than a reflected light. You do it in a window and it's filled with light. Okay. Sheer genius, sheer inspired, grace-filled genius. So and then statues. You look at Chartres. You look at some of the great liminal images of Mary in Europe, the Black Madonnas, etc. They are not flat painted panels. These are these three-dimensional sculptures, but done in such a way that they transcend sensuality and have a sense of this divine presence, the devotion of ordinary Catholics over centuries with all the votive offerings and all this sort of stuff. Exactly the same as if it's a panel icon painted in by Panselemos. It's the reaction of faith to the presence of God and the saints and the angels is exactly the same. So for me, I think as a Catholic, there's a responsibility an opportunity to really be looking in a more expansive way, in a more Catholic way, in a more comprehensive way, and to find a way of serving Christ's presence in the liturgy in a visual way. And so Matthew Paris is an example. The Western manuscript work, I think, is really quite. It's a language of joy, and taking that and then using that as the basis for monumental painting in the church or devotional images, which are different. I think the other thing that one of the problems with the Byzantine ethos is, everything's an icon. So, you go into the church and all the walls are painted, but these are not you're not venerating the saints. They're decorating the space and reminding you of the gospel.
Okay.
So you've got decoration. They're very good on the painted swags of cloth and the stylized vine leaves and all this sort of stuff. It's all there in Orthodoxy, that. But rather than saying, the liturgical art has different forms and uses, so decorative, didactic, like teaching, which is what Pope Gregory was talking about primarily, and the liminal, which is, the sense of this doorway from heaven where we meet heaven. It's all been sort of concertinaed into one. And so it's, this is orthodoxy, this is the tradition, and whatever it is that we're doing must be the tradition, and therefore the tradition is whatever we're doing, and therefore whatever we're doing is, uncontroversial. You cannot question this, and when you do something different, it's because you don't have the faith, and if you're not Orthodox, how can you be painting icons anyway, etc., etc., etc. You get into that. So I've become more confident in the Catholic context of the liturgical image. And I think we bring something that Orthodoxy lacks. Orthodox brings something, the East brings something, which is this very, very rich, fine culture to express the faith. But Catholicism brings what Catholicism brings, which is this breadth of opportunity to really allow the spirit to break through into the material world in a transfiguring, transcendent way.